Ben Pelchat. How are you?
I'm very good.
You are an artist.
Yes.
You're a musician.
Yes.
You're a singer, a songwriter, a producer.
Yes.
A manager.
Yep.
You say that you are a music designer.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So I specifically came up with the term to create an all-encompassing definition of what I do and to try to avoid the sort of jack of all trades kind of thing. And I wanted to refine it into, okay, what is it that I do? And so I put music together, whether it's on, a live playing kind of scenario or recorded scenarios, arrangement, writing, whatever it is. I tend to be the person behind the desk or behind the guitar or behind the microphone, sort of steering the ship and kind of, putting all the pieces together. So I liken it to a graphic designer. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I kept up with the term. And I think it sort of, it sort of roughly describes what I do.
I like using the word sonic landscape when talking to musicians, recording artists. What's the sonic landscape of their record? What does it sound like?
Right.
Talk to me about the sonic landscape that you created when you were designing for Gravity, your current single.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So I'm very inspired by sci-fi, and specifically one of my favorite sci-fi movies is Interstellar.
Yes.
And completely fell in love with that movie and the way that was all put together. And I love the sort of very heady concepts around it in that it was just way out there, but sort of scientifically possible, specifically the warping of time and all the images of people kind of floating in space. And so I use that sort of imagery in my head to conjure up some sounds that I thought would be interesting. So, you have the reverse water droplets tucked away. You have these otherworldly synths. You have this guitar line that's flying out into space, where it's coming from. The vocals are completely ethereal and just very trippy kind of stuff, and almost Pink Floydian territory, which I wanted to get more into, and I really enjoy that kind of that dark, almost 1980s science fiction kind of vibe. So
you cite two artists that have influenced you: David Bowie, Michael Jackson. What is it that you get inspiration-wise from David Bowie?
Oh my goodness. I like what a chameleon he is. So I can totally relate to this as a producer. It's something where you're interested in all kinds of music. And in terms of the stuff that I've produced, I've been a little bit of in that Rick Rubin camp where it's, you're producing country music one moment and then producing hip-hop another. But you're making out well in both worlds. And I've found like that's been something that's happened almost out of necessity, but I've sort of, developed an understanding of a lot of different genres of music through that whole experience. So I understand when it comes to then being an artist, how much I relate to David Bowie, because then I sit down to make my own record, which I'm working on now, and I'm interested in so many things. And what is it that you narrow it down to? Well, unfortunately, you can't do everything, so you have to sort of pick a direction for each record. So I just relate to him in that way. And then his music has obviously influenced my writing and all kinds of stuff over the last 15 years.
What about Michael Jackson?
What do you
take from his essence?
I love Michael. He's amazing. I love his sense of groove and just the way that he has the ability to make people get up on a dance floor and react to the music. So I think in terms of what I take away from both artists is Michael Jackson, I take away the sort of music of the body sort of essence of what he does. And with David Bowie, I take away the music of the mind type of stuff. So the two different kind of spots in the way that you react to the music. And definitely hard to pick favorites, but now having met Michael's brother and having worked at his studio now in LA with Tito, it's been an interesting process where I feel even closer to the Jackson camp.
Ben, you can't just drop a bombshell like that. How did that happen? Like, what happened? Talk to me.
So Earl Powell, who otherwise known as Trillionaire Earl Powell, who is the co-producer on Gravity,
Okay.
With Alexi Guerrer, who we all came together in the studio last September to do the track. Has worked extensively with the Jacksons, Tito, Jermaine, the Jacksons themselves, and has written a lot for them. And so through our relationship, we've been introduced to these amazing folks. And
wow.
Really have a lot to thank him for. And I've just felt like that whole essence of that camp of people has permeated the music that I've been doing. And you know, now I constantly think of, you know, when I'm putting a beat together or laying a groove down, and you know, playing guitar even, I'm thinking about you know, the Jackson vibe. So there's something great about it. And you know, and to be honest, the people working out of Tito's studio have also said, like, you know, they feel like Michael shows up on occasion, you know, kind of vibe because of what happens, the special music that comes out of that space. Just an incredible experience.
What was it like being part of the Jackson clan? Was it all you thought it would be?
It's very interesting, actually. I first met Tito on FaceTime. So Earl introduced us that way, and he was very warm and welcoming, and so we were at the studio, and he said, Tito, you might want to check out some of these guitars. We have these custom guitars by this guitar maker named Ray Majuri, who just lends us a whole complement of guitars. And we said, hey, Tito, you might want to check out these cool guitars. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. And he's like, take a look at mine. And he pans his phone over to this wall of guitars, maybe 25 guitars. And I think they were all vintage, pre-1970, everything. And just going, okay, this guy's the real deal. And just feeling that real warmth from him. But yeah, just an amazing guy, and great spirit, and then actually having, you know, being able to you know, for him to be so gracious as to let us use his space and everything like that
that's fantastic.
Was incredible.
So let's talk about the space that we're in, Kensington Sound Recording Studios. How did you get involved with Kensington Sound?
So about 10 years ago, an acquaintance of my mother's named Vazy was introduced to me through her. And we got talking, and through, you know, just one thing leading to another, Vazy showing me the space, us trading music, and basically, and my mom's intro of, you guys basically do the same thing, you need to meet each other, and then us meeting each other, being sort of kindred spirits, realizing that we were very, very similar in our approach to music making. We ended up being partners. So it's been an incredible 10-year journey, and I feel humbled to be a part of it. And some amazing music has come out of this space, and I've been fortunate enough, since I've been here, I've been able to work with you know, Grammy Award winners and X Factor stars and stars on The Voice and all kinds of stuff that I think the space plays into as well. I mean, the producer and the artist are one part of it, but the music that comes out of it does have a lot to do with the space. And the most simplified way I could say it is that this space has songs in the walls. I feel like in the room, you walk into the room and you feel like there are songs waiting to happen, and you just have to kind of tune into the vibe, and you receive it. And it's an incredible thing that a lot of people have can sort of back me up on, I think. A lot of great young artists come into the studio that have felt it, and a lot of established artists know it.
Well said.
Thank you.
Ben Pelchat, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Mark.